So pretty much, I got to Phoenix Airport, and I was ready to leave Phoenix Airport basically 10 minutes into arriving because I met my childhood hero, Coolio, in Phoenix at the baggage claim. Coolio gets his bags from the baggage claim. He doesn't have bodyguards do it. And I saw him in the corner of my eye, and I didn't recognize him, but he had a hat with his hair sticking out, so he's still like trying to do the whole hair thing. You guys know what I'm talking about? And so I go, Mr. Coolio, I was like, can we get a selfie really quick? And so this is me, and this is him. Like literally no smile at all. I look like a little schoolgirl. Seriously, I was so pumped to see Coolio. I couldn't believe it. I was just blown away. So anyway, that was my experience with Phoenix Airport. I want to tell you guys that I am honored to be on this stage speaking with you today. I take every speaking experience that I do, I take it heavy because you guys are heroes. You save lives every day, and you're allowing me to come and speak with you and share with you technologies and hacks that are going to make you a better practitioner, going to make you a better doctor. It's going to make you a better advocate for what you do. And when you talk about hacks, we think hacks, we're going to do hacks to be more productive. We're going to do hacks so we can be more efficient with our time. And so we end up managing time. But I want to tell you right now that managing time doesn't get us anywhere. The reason that we try to manage time is so that we can actually widen the margin to do more of what we love, right? And that's essentially what we want to do. We want to do more of what we love. And so that's what I'm going to teach you today. I'm going to go through some examples. I'm going to talk about some doctors in our EPIC program that are utilizing these hacks to further their momentum, to further their income, to further their impact. If I were to ask a question, so I'm going to ask a question, not if I would ask a question. How many of you want to earn 7 figures and live out your hobbies and spend more time with your family? Who would? Okay, so I'm in the right place. That's good. Okay. And you guys want to travel and you want to experience life and you want to see the people that you want to see. You want to see your ideal client. And so that's another thing we're going to be talking about today. How amazing has this seminar been, by the way? It's been awesome, right? These guys rock the house. It's amazing when you get around people that are mission-centered and that aren't going to settle and that are willing to go the extra mile to teach, and they're willing to go the extra mile to actually take people under their wing and say, hey, this is how we did it. It didn't work. This is how we were successful. We're going to teach you that. And that's some of the things that I'm going to teach you today. I spent over $100,000 past my schooling in order to give some of you these things that I'm going to teach you today. And so, this stuff, a lot of times you learn the hard way and you keep learning the hard way, and eventually someone comes along and says, hey, why don't you do it this way? That might be a better way. And so that's exactly what we're going to go over today. And so we're going to go over the 7 critical productivity hacks. I'm actually going to give you more. Who wants 22? 22 productivity hacks. Okay, there's not going to be 22, but I'm going to give you more than 7, okay? So there's going to be more than 7 where it's going to triple your income, it's going to multiply your impact, and you're going to do it all while working 3 days a week. Now, how many people, when you hear that, you think, you're a big fat liar? Thank you for being honest. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I thought the same thing because I was in the same position thinking there's no way that my schedule could become any easier because I'm working my butt off and I'm like just meeting my quota. And that was in my clinic in Nashville. I was working over 65 hours a week, just spinning my wheels, taking care of the people that I love, but I wasn't satisfied, I wasn't happy, I wasn't fulfilled. And so that's what we're going to be talking about is how do you actually enter into this next season of your life? And please don't let the numbers overwhelm you. 7 figures may be something that you're like, right now, I would take 6. Right now, I would take 5. Wherever you're at, okay, it's all about steps. So you're continually taking steps, you're continually growing. This is what you're going to learn. I won't go through this whole list, but the 2 key elements to handling to branding that took us from $200K per year to 7 figures. You're going to learn the number 1 success strategy that's as old as time. The best technology hacks like people like John Lee Dumas and Ari Meisel have taught me personally, and this is actually what we incorporate into our EPIC program, which I'm going to talk to you about as well. So these are all the different types of things that we're doing right now. My partner and I, we run Designer Health Centers, which is a high-performance concierge doctor-run program. So we utilize LabWorks and we develop programs to help people maintain strategies for high performance. We also run Superhuman Entrepreneur, which started out as a very selfish endeavor. We just wanted to learn from people. But in 6 months, we grew Superhuman Entrepreneur from 5,000 fans to about 30,000 fans. And I'm going to talk to you about some things that we did and how we actually grew that podcast. Who in here are doing podcasts? Okay, who in here are doing webinars? Okay, so that's very, very few hands. So leave out the podcast. If you simply do a webinar a month, you will see your business grow tremendously. Because what you're doing is you're now connecting with your clients. You're now connecting with those people that you want to connect with, and you're getting out there in either your community or you're simply just putting it online. See, sometimes we think, okay, if I do a webinar, then I'm not reaching the people in my community, but actually what you're doing is you're building rapport with people. You're building a brand. And that's something that we'll talk about, especially in the demographic that you're going after. If you do a video or a webinar, they are blown away by that. Like if you do a video and you tell them there's a video of me online, they're like, there's a video of you online? You must be a celebrity. That's how they think. And so even if you're bad at getting in front of the camera, you feel weak, you feel like you're gonna faint if you're in front of the camera, do 5-second videos, do 10-second videos like Dustin Maher talked about. Just get in front of the camera and start getting yourself comfortable. We also run Thrive, which is a continuity program. So people who want to utilize us consistently year after year, if they want to use us as their doctor and they want to continue to maintain high performance, they want to implement it into their families. We have a lot of wives of executives and children of executives who are coming through the program. They utilize Thrive. And then we have Epic. Epic is pretty cool, I will say. It's probably one of my favorite things on this list. And the reason that it's cool, it's our 25K Mastermind. It's a group of doctors who have come together who are intentional about changing the world. So a mentor of mine would always tell me, show me your 5 friends, and I'll show you where you'll be in 5 years. Have you heard that before? It is so true. Because now that I look back on my life, I actually see where my life was in valleys and where I had peaks. And the peaks were those people around me at the time. They were actually showing me what it was like to do big things. So our Epic program, we hold all over the United States. We're actually doing our next retreat 2 hours and 30 minutes from here, north, I believe, Sedona. Is that 2 hours and 33 minutes north of here? Yeah, so we're doing it in Sedona, right? Is that right? That's pretty good. I just threw that out there. And so it's in Sedona, and we get a group of like-minded individuals. I say doctors, but it's health practitioners. So we have naturopaths, we have chiropractors, we have dietitians, we have pharmacists, we have all different types of practitioners that come together, and they want to develop a bigger impact virtually. So we teach them how to do that, and we go through some of the hacks that we're going to talk about today. My mission's simple: to create global health transformation, to influence influentials to transform their health and those around them. So this is what thinking big has done for me. This is one of the scariest talks that I've ever done in my life. This was in front of the Ven Prita, and I was the first doctor to ever step into his temple and be able to teach his people, okay? So that little woman that's sitting in front of me, she's supposed to be my interpreter, right? So we get there, and literally, she gets down like this, and she has my little poster board, and she's just doing this. And so I get down, and I do this, and everybody goes, ah, ha, ha, ha. Everybody just busts out in laughter. And so I stand up, and she's like, you must stand up. She said, women cannot stand in front of Ven Prita, but you must stand in front of Ven Prita. So we go up, and I start talking, and she's not saying anything. So I say, kid, I said, are you going to interpret? She says, no. So literally, I did the whole talk without an interpreter. So I said anything I wanted. It was awesome. I mean, literally, it didn't matter what I said, but she did not interpret because they couldn't talk in front of the Ven Prita. Here's the crazy part about that story. Half the temple ended up coming into our clinic, even though they didn't understand a word that I said. So anyway, it was an interesting talk. Another thing is we just had a book come out in Japan. It's a #1 bestseller. It went on the top 10, and now it's back at #1 again. We have a fatty acid supplement that's on the back of it. I'm doing our 10th talk this year in Japan in October, and we're just gonna round out 7 figures from that seminar. I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about how we developed that relationship and some of the things that we're doing to cultivate it. Who knows who the guy on the bottom right is? Warren Buffett. Yeah. Who knows who the guy on the top left is? You said Charlie Munger. Yeah, so not a lot of people know who he is. So here's the thing. Charlie Munger is Warren Buffett's secret weapon. So when they go into a conference room or a board meeting, Charlie Munger can actually decide if the deal is gonna go good or bad within 5 minutes of talking to the individuals in the room. One of the things that Warren Buffett always talks about is that this is the guy that's been closing the deals for Berkshire and Hathaway for so long. Yet we always hear about Warren Buffett. This right here is something that he uses day in and day out to manage his time. Write this down, take a picture of it. This is gonna change the way you do business right here. This is the easiest, most efficient diagram you will ever see on time because you don't need any tools to learn it. You don't need to go online to learn it. This is how you learn it right here by looking at it. So here's the key right here. So, whoops, my laser. Okay. So when you put things into this category, all right, this was developed by President Eisenhower. He was considered the most efficient president that's ever lived. He would say, I have two kinds of problems. The urgent and the important. The urgent are never important, and the important are never urgent. And that means that if you are constantly addressing the urgent, then you are putting out fires all the time. You're never able to step back as an entrepreneur and say, okay, I'm gonna decide what it is. I'm gonna decide if it's important or if it's urgent. Essentially, you should be residing in this square right here, okay? So if you're residing here, important and urgent, you're putting out fires. If you're residing here, you're actually able to decide what you need to do. You're able to step back and say, okay, what is urgent today? What is important today? Just like this talk. So for instance, you're going to leave here and you're gonna be absolutely overwhelmed with all the information. You're gonna say, well, I don't know what to implement right now. And so when you start plugging in things into this graph, you're gonna start to see, okay, what is the most urgent thing right now that you need to do? What's the one thing you need to do to grow your business? And then you'll start to act on it. You never wanna operate in this segment here, urgent and not important. Why? Because it's not important, okay? It may be urgent, but it's not important. So you're gonna delegate it, and then you're gonna delete anything that's not urgent and not important. If you have questions on this, which you probably do, maybe we can do a webinar later on, or maybe we can send something out that kind of like delves into it a little bit more. This is a supplement to that chart. So this is the Entrepreneurial Scorecard. Take a picture of it, write it down. Very important. So this is what Charlie Munger did to grow his business to the billion-dollar business that it is. This is what we did to grow our business to 7 figures. What you're doing is you're not managing time. You're no longer doing that anymore. Don't even say those words anymore. What you're doing is you are putting value to your time. For instance, if you're operating within this $10, I'm having a hard time with this clicker. I'm clickly challenged. Okay, so if you're operating within this column right here, you're actually doing yourself a disservice. So for instance, this could be administrative, this could be checking email, this could be filing. You're operating at a $10 an hour activity. If you're operating with this column, these are lawyers, these are specialized technicians, $100. $1,000, this may be a client for you. For the most part, this is bottom line. This is face-to-face sales right here, okay? So you want to operate within this column, or you want to operate within the $10,000 column. Now, you may ask yourself, well, what's $10,000? How in the world do you do that, okay? That could be speaking from stage. So for me, that would be speaking from stage. That would be a client. So we do 15 to roughly 25K programs. You may operate in this column right now. You may operate in this column right now. But essentially what you're doing is you're writing your activities down, and then you're giving yourself a daily target. So how do you figure out your daily target? Well, if I'm gonna work 200 days a year this year, which is my targeted goal, and I wanna make $1 million, I'm gonna divide those two, and that's gonna get me my daily target. My actual is what I make every single day. So if you start using this graph here, and you start getting numbers in here that are lower than this, then guess what? You gotta step up your game. You're residing too much in the $10 an hour column. So if I do an hour and a half of work, and I reside in the $10 column, I just paid myself $15 an hour. Wake up. It's time to wake up and actually start residing in these big dollar amounts. And this is how you get your business to grow. If you do it this way and not, I gotta be productive today, I gotta manage like my 800 tasks, if you start focusing on the one thing that's gonna bring up your value, things start to change immediately. Write this one down. This is Toggle. If you are a platform person, if you want to start managing your time online, this is one of the things that we've been utilizing for years to come, for years and years, and now years to come. It's amazing at tracking time. If you have to track your staff's time, use Toggle. Awesome. Some of these things I'm not going to talk about too much. I'm just going to show you and then move on. So ask yourself this question. This is one of the questions that a lot of my mentors told me to ask when I was first starting out. They said, what is the one thing I can do such by doing it, everything else will be unnecessary or easier? Do you know that answer right now? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Ask yourself that question every single day. What is the one thing that you can do right now? So, for instance, when you get home, you're going to assimilate all this information. So what's the one thing that you can do to grow your business from all this information? Don't try to go back and assimilate all the notes. Just focus on that one speaker and just say, okay, I'm going to do that to get to where I want to be. Because here's the thing. In your head, you have a dream practice in mind. You may want to be all cash. You may want to write a book. You may want to open up a brick and mortar clinic. Maybe you already have one. You may want to go half brick and mortar. You may want to go half cash. You may want to go half brick and mortar. You may want to go half online. Maybe you want to go all virtual. Maybe you've never heard of how to do virtual before. But I can tell you that virtual allows you to open up your mind, allows you to start bringing in that residual income. It allows you to broaden your impact. So before I was virtual, I was in a clinic. And then I started going virtual, and all of a sudden, I couldn't believe the impact I was able to have. I was able to see people in Japan and Australia and Amsterdam and all these other places without ever meeting them. I mean, I would meet them online. I would meet them on Skype. But that never even occurred to me that I could do that. These are two doctors that are in our EPIC program that did just that. So Dr. Jay Davidson, he's on the bottom here. He was in a clinic, said, I don't want to be in a clinic anymore. I want to broaden my impact. I want to start seeing more people. I want to start seeing the people that I love to see and not just have to see. So he moved to California. He attended one of our retreats, and he said, I'm doing a Lyme Summit. So he started a Lyme Summit. He targeted his people, and he just made $500,000 in 1 week the other week, just from his Lyme Summit. And he's on track to do $1 million from all the residual income coming in. Do you want to know the drill that he used to do it? Yes. 2 people? Yes. 3, 5, 8, all of you. Okay, awesome. Okay, so here's the drill. We're not going to actually go through it, but I'm going to tell you the questions that he used. So 4 questions he asked. This is where he started. So he said, who is my dream client? Always ask yourself that. Who is my dream client? How do they behave? That's very important. Where do they hang out, online and offline? And how can I connect with them? Okay? Who is my dream client? How do they behave? Where do they hang out, online and offline? And how can I connect with them? Just from knowing those 4 questions and being able to answer them, he was able to start the Lyme Summit and actually put it out to people who were going to respond to it. See, that's a lot of times the barrier in our way is that we're like, well, if I put it out, then I'm going to lose a lot of money. People aren't going to respond to it. But see, when you answer these 4 questions properly, now you target that person and there's less risk involved. Now, do you have to pay for a summit? Absolutely. But I can tell you that the back end of it is way worth what you're going to pay. It is 100% worth it. So don't ever let that stop you, okay? So I always say if you wear these, you're never going to have to worry about dating again because you're never going to get anybody into your life. These are blue light blocking glasses. Who uses these? Yeah, these are awesome. Bono uses them. Don't make fun of them, okay? Yeah, you use them, exactly. So here's the key with these. These actually will make you productive. And the reason that they do is because, see, I'm in front of a computer way too often. And a lot of times what happens is that your cortisol starts to go up at night because you're looking at your computer. So now you're not getting rest. So now you're burning out. So now your productivity is lower. So I can tell you these are miracle workers. 25% of people that I see, I just tell them to use these. There's a significant change in their sleep. There's a significant change in their hormone regulation. They're amazing. Here's Flux. Who uses Flux? So Flux controls blue light. So Flux will actually match itself to the sun. So as the sun starts to go down, you're on your computer, it'll actually form a tint on your screen. And it is amazing. Just these 2 things alone will increase your productivity tremendously because sometimes it's just us looking at our phones, us looking at our computers, you're watching TV, and all of a sudden your productivity starts to go down. So where do you begin? These are 3 things that you must do whenever you're going to address productivity. Outsourcing. Most of us don't know how to outsource. Use a VA. Use a personal assistant. Who is intimidated to use a virtual assistant or a personal assistant because you think it's too much money? You're not? Nobody? Awesome. So you guys use virtual assistants and personal assistants. How many of you use virtual assistants and personal assistants? You all should be using virtual assistants and personal assistants. This is one of the things that helped us grow our business the most. Why? Because you're able to focus on that one thing. You're able to outsource all the other stuff that takes up your time. This is one of the easiest things you can possibly do. Use this. That's all I'm gonna say. Use Fancy Hands. So Fancy Hands, that's what I'm talking about. Fancy Hands, my virtual assistant came from Fancy Hands. I feel like this is a children's sweatshop. Like literally when I use them, I'm like, I pay you way too little and you do everything. They'll tile your roof if you want them to. Like they'll do whatever you want them to do, and it's $65. And seriously, like you can give them huge tasks. I gave this one girl a task. I was like, organize my entire email list. Give me a list of people who've gone through labs, who haven't gone through labs, people who need to talk with me, people who I've let off the hook. She made this huge list. It must have taken hours and hours, and I paid her $65. And so using that will make you more productive than you would ever know. Delegation. So I'm not going to talk a lot about this. Delegation, though, look up Michael Hyatt /delegate. None of us know how to delegate, I guarantee you. You think you know how to delegate. Then when you read this article, your eyes go across and you're like, man, I need to get on the game. I need to get on the ball. And then batching. This is something that I do every single day to help with my productivity. If you are not batching your days, then you're breaking your flow state every time you have to switch to another objective or another task. For instance, when I do podcast marathons. I literally do podcast after podcast after podcast because I know that when I break that state, then all of a sudden I'm gonna be focusing on something else. I have Friendly Fridays where all my external meetings are done on Friday. I don't do anything else except meet with people outside of the clinic. So I'm all virtual, so obviously, I'm not seeing anybody inside an actual clinic, but I'm seeing the people that want to meet with me outside, like business partners and things, on Fridays. And that helps me stay focused. It's amazing. So batch your tasks. It will help you tremendously. Fiverr, anybody use Fiverr? Yes. Okay, so Fiverr, so you can pay $5 for a logo. If you're having a problem branding yourself, you can pay $5 for a logo. You can do voiceovers on Fiverr. You can actually tell someone to do a voiceover for video and they'll do it for $5 on Fiverr. Amazing, amazing site. So one of the ways that we got to be #1 health consultancy company in the US is by focusing on these three things. So focusing on thoughts, dreams, and team. Have you guys ever seen that commercial where it's this little boy, he's standing on the free dive, it's a Nike commercial. He's standing on the free dive and it says, greatness is scary. I know, my British accent's amazing. It says, greatness is scary. And then he goes, shh, and it says, until it isn't. Because he jumps off the free dive. So literally, that's so true in our lives, because I was just talking to Tessa about how we actually fear greatness more than we actually fear failing. Because failing, you can actually wrap your mind around. You've actually seen it done before. Greatness, a lot of us have not seen like true greatness with our own eyes. So a lot of times we talk ourselves out of it. And that's a lot of what we address in our Epic program, in our retreat, in our Mastermind, is we address the thoughts, we address the team, who you're actually putting yourselves around. That's why you guys are here today, because you are putting yourselves around people who have raised the bar on healthcare. You're putting yourselves around people who look at it as saving lives and not just simply a job. So important. Know this. Put your hands up like this. Say, I'm a hero. I'm a hero. And I save lives every day. Say it again. I'm a hero. And I save lives every day. Say it one more time. I'm a hero. And I save lives every day. Okay, put them down. That's what you need to be telling yourself day in and day out. You are a hero and you save lives every single day. What is movement worth to the body? What is nutrition, optimal nutrition, worth to the body? What is it to change someone's paradigm? You know what Lance Armstrong said when he healed from cancer? He had all the experts in the world around him. He said, it was my mindset. You guys are changing people's trajectories. If they don't use you, they're going down a road that's going to cost them more money than ever. So if you're having a problem with what you charge or your value, it's not your number, it's you. Know that. So I had a problem with what I was charging. I remember when I actually did a 997 program. I worked with this gentleman for 6 months, charged 997. I remember when I charged $8K for my first program. I was at my mom's house, and I go, Mom, I just got $8K for a program. Hello, this is Dr. Accurso. Yes, what do you need? I mean, literally, I was so pumped, but I had a problem with my cost. I had a problem with what I was charging. And it wasn't because it was a problem with the number, it was a problem with me. It was a problem with myself. So know that you're a hero and you save lives every day. You need to charge what you're worth. Don't be intimidated at the number. Now, do we have to deliver the goods? Absolutely. You can't just charge any number and not deliver the goods. You got to deliver it. But once you start delivering it, charge what you're worth. You paint brighter futures for people. You paint futures for people every single day. You change their trajectory. You help them to see that there's hope in what they're doing. You help them to see that they're not destined for disease and destruction, like Dr. Waters was telling you about. It's not about the gene, it's about the epigenetics. It's about the epigenetics of the gene, what they're actually doing to their bodies. So this is Dr. Stickler. He's in our mastermind, and we were at a retreat, and we're all talking, having a serious discussion, and he goes, Iron Man. And we're like, Dan, stop being so immature. We're trying to have a serious conversation here. He's like, no, Iron Man. I'm just kidding, actually. He's very smart. We pay attention to every word he says because he's brilliant. So he said, what are you talking about? He said, that's it, Iron Man Executive. That's what I'm going to start. So literally, his brand has catapulted him into the next season of his life. He actually just hired Dr. Jeffrey Life. You know who that is? Jeffrey Life, when you open the airport magazine and you see your grandpa on steroids, you know who that guy is? He's got the body of a 21-year-old. So he just hired him. And literally, this is springboarding off of the idea, the executive Ironman. I'm gonna start seeing executives in my clinic. This is where we got Elevas. So Elevas is our brand now. So you saw all those things that I listed. We're actually taking all those and we're putting them into one name, which is called Elevas. I would recommend you do that. If you have different names for your programs, put it under one. We started developing programs, and we started doing different price points for the programs. And I can't tell you how much residual income will come to you if you start developing programs online. Just develop one program, and it will change your business, because you'll start to focus on that one niche. We started partnering with different supplement companies. This is a supplement company that we partner with called Systemic Formulas, another form of residual income. And all of a sudden, so we started focusing on that one thing. We started focusing on our passion. We started seeing results with people. Check this out. Daniel Kingston, going down the road of heart disease in his 30s, and now completely changed his life. Look at these results. So in 6 months, we were able to bring him from heavy lead, heavy mercury to barely anything. His LPP panel, all of these were in the red, so over 6 of them in the red. His LP(a) off the charts, which means stress on the heart, which means he's going down the road of heart disease. Now look at this, all in the green now. Just from operating within, okay, we're gonna focus on one thing, we're gonna focus on one program, and we're gonna have different price points for different levels. So if you work with us for a month, it's gonna be a certain price. You work with us for 4 months, it's a certain price. So once again, asking yourself, what is the one program or product you can create to create massive impact in the world? This is another doctor in our EPIC program. What he did was, he was in a clinic, he was in a 4-wall clinic, and he said, I want more freedom in my life. I want to spend time with my twins that we just had. I want to create residual streams of income. But you know what? A lot of doctors, we hit a glass ceiling. All of a sudden, we can't make income anymore because it's just like, here's what I charge, and it's not going to change. This is it. Unless you start seeing more people or you start creating more residual income. So he created one product. One product, he wrote a couple blog posts, and all of a sudden, he started driving traffic into his niche, into what he was actually selling. And he started creating residual income. Everybody know who Uriel Kame is? Uriel Kame is an athletic trainer. So sometimes we have limiting beliefs in our head. We say, well, I have to work with a person. I have to be moving a joint, or I have to be consulting with them. It's actually not true. It's a limiting belief. You can actually do anything online. He was a personal trainer. He made $4K his first year. He made $40K off of one product. He made $40K the next year, quit his job as a personal trainer. He made $500K in the next 3 years, and now he's on his way to make $7 million. We were just at his mastermind. JJ Virgin, the sugar expert, the women's diet expert, she started out the same way. She created one program, one product, and started making videos and blog posts and selling it online. So write these 2 things down. These are 2 hacks that you want to know. Text Expander and CoVideo. So Text Expander, this is my favorite thing in the world, okay? So I thought I'd have something to write on. You guys know what a semicolon is. So if you have any templates that you're writing over and over and over again, if you're writing emails to people, if you have things that, like for instance, I have month 1 through month 6 programs, and I have outlines of all the programs, and sometimes I write to people and say, hey, you're gonna be doing this. They're all templates, and they take up tons of time. This is a code that you apply to a template. So you're gonna write semicolon. For instance, if I was gonna send somebody a month one template, I'd write semicolon M1 on my computer, and it puts the entire template in the email. Boom, just writes it in for me. Does that make sense? Okay, it's a code. So you're typing code. So now when you have a ton of emails to write or you have a ton of templates to do, if you're responding to somebody over email and you want to write this huge email, you just put a code in, boom, and it does it for you. It's amazing. CoVideo is another one. So CoVideo, you can embed videos and you can send a mass email to people. So this is a great way to get your video out there. Also, CoVideo, you can do training over CoVideo. So if you find that delegation, sometimes a limiting belief for us is, well, it's gonna be too hard to delegate that. I'm gonna have to spend so much time with the person. It's gonna take up so much time. You make a video. You make a video, and in that way, guess what? When they ask again, you say, look at the video. Well, what about look at the video? Well, how about look at the video? That's all you do. You just point to the video every single time, okay? You don't be rude about it, though. So followup.cc, this is awesome. I don't have a lot of time to go through this, but followup.cc, if your weakness is email, okay, who gets trapped by email? Liars. Who gets trapped by email? Most of us get trapped by email. You do. You spend way too much time. Even if it's 5 minutes over, still, it's, once again, if you put a value on your time, you're paying yourself $10 an hour. Start operating in the other things. Follow-up CC allows you to do that. So if you use Follow-up CC, it will actually monitor who opens your emails. It will help you on vacations. It will actually help you to not stalk the people and figure out if they're opening your emails. It's amazing. And then it organizes your emails for you. It actually puts it into priorities. So when I look at my email in the morning, the red are the things that I address first, the green are second, the blue are third. So I basically don't operate in the green or the blue. My assistant does it for me, and then I operate in all the red. So I'm just doing that one thing that's gonna bring the most productivity to my business. So I was gonna go a little bit over my morning routine, but I'm not gonna go over everything, but this is one of my number one hacks, okay? If you don't have a morning routine, start developing one now. Your morning is the most important part of your day. This is gonna boost you into growing your business like never before. And so I will say, if you wanna learn more about negative ions, talk to Dr. Waters. He'll give you all the research you need, and then he'll disprove it with more research that says it's not good. But what you wanna do is when in the morning, so negative ions, that can come from the ocean. Okay, so I jump in the ocean in the morning. That's one thing that I do. I take a run, I jump in the ocean. If you don't have an ocean, throw some Epsom salt in a cold bath and get in a cold bath. If you don't have a bathtub, then jump in a cold shower. But do something that's going to revitalize your body. You know, cold water releases serotonin in the body, and then the body, you fool it, because then your body says, well, I'm not gonna stop producing it. So it actually even produces it after the shower. So now you're kind of on a natural high. It's awesome. I'm not gonna go through the middle part of this stuff, but if you really want it, you can email me and I'll email it to you. This fat shake is amazing, okay? So we developed this after kind of like doing like little experiments with shakes. Your brain is 70% fat. You need fat in the morning. So get some type of fat in your diet, whether it be grass-fed butter. That's where like the whole bulletproof coffee came from. Grass-fed butter and coconut oil in your coffee. Well, I do a fat shake. This is the video if you wanna actually see how it's done. This is the video. Once again, make a video. This video is not complicated at all. I put it on there and my patients are like going crazy about it. They're giving it to their friends. They're like, oh my goodness, he has a video about a shake. It's amazing. So if you do one video, it'll change the way that actually your patients look at you. It'll actually change the way how you market yourself. You can refer people to the video. It's awesome. But if you wanna learn how to make it, that's the video. Has anybody seen this documentary? It's amazing, right? Okay, so this documentary, this is about a guy who makes sushi, and he makes the same sushi over and over and over again. And guess what? Guess where his restaurant is? It's in a crusty subway, right? So a lot of times we have predispositions of how things should look and how we should look. Okay, this guy does the same sushi over and over and over again. He has a waiting list, an 8-month waiting list for people. They sit at his counter, which fits 10 people, and they pay $500 for the experience, and they're there for like 45 minutes. Right? So if you have a problem with value, just look at people like this, right? He knows that he's the best at making sushi, and he makes the same sushi over and over and over again. Anybody who makes a different sushi, he kicks them out, he fires them. He says, you gotta make the same sushi. But guess what? If you focus on one thing, you become a master. If you focus on many things, you become good. So focus on that one thing in your business is gonna propel you into that dream practice. Start thinking about your dream practice. Start thinking about your dream client. When I was in my clinic, when I would sleep in my bed at night, I actually taped a piece of paper on my bed with a picture of my ideal client. So right when I would wake up in the morning, I'd see that beautiful client. Be like, there he is. That's who I'm focusing on today. That's why I'm waking up today. I'm waking up for you. You right there. That's who I'm. So do things where you're putting the image in your head of who you want to attract, and guess what happens? They start coming into your office. They actually start contacting you. It's pretty amazing because you're thinking about them all the time. It's like when you want that new Porsche and you see that Porsche all over the road. You're like, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is. Whatever it is, you're manifesting it. Okay, it's huge. And so this is a PT that's actually in our mastermind, and I bring her up because it doesn't take a lot of money to be in a mastermind. It doesn't take a lot of talent to be in a mastermind. It doesn't take fame to be in a mastermind. It just takes a single step. And so this girl came in and she was distraught because she didn't know what to do with where she was. And so what we did was we gave her tools to help propel her into that next season of her life. And sometimes all it takes is that group of people that you put around you that are saying, you can do it. These are the potholes. Don't step in them. This is how I maintain success. All you do is A, B, and C. And we complicate it way too much sometimes. We actually talk ourselves out of it in our heads. This is where we had our last retreat, the Casa Monica in St. Augustine. We ate amazing food. We surfed. A doctor almost drove his scooter through the front lobby of the Casa Monica Hotel. Like amazing things happened. But we're all about meta learning. So anything we teach, we experience it. Because we know, that's how I learn best. I'm a kinesthetic learner. So that's how I learn best, and that's how we choose to teach. So we teach practitioners all over the United States. They come and they actually learn the things that will take them to the next level. Most of it is virtual because that's what we do. We operate in the virtual world. But like those two doctors that I talked about, they were online. So everything they do is online. They still see clients every now and again, so that's the brick and mortar part, but then they have another part of it that's virtual. And guess what? Your virtual, your online practice, it fuels what you're doing because people are looking at it. You've branded yourself. This is one of the groups that we were in the Casa Monica. This is the Mastermind. It's just a group of like-minded individuals who want to help each other. That's all it is. It's a family. So we tend to be very guarded about who's in it because guess what? It's family. You don't want anybody to come into your family. You want to make sure that you have a strict criteria of who's actually in it so we can have low ego. That's the key. You want low ego, you want people who are willing to ask questions and say, hey, I don't understand that. I ask questions. We all ask questions because that's how you learn, that's how you grow. It's a community of people. So like I said, who are the 5 people that you're surrounding yourself with right now? Can you think of those people? Who are the 3 people that you're surrounding yourself with? And are they lifting you up or are they pulling you down? Are they bashing your dreams? Are they allowing you to see what's actually possible? Are they talking impossibility into your life? Because here's the thing, a lot of times we're not getting the business strategy that we need. We all know when you went to school, you did not get proper business strategy, right? I mean, a lot of us didn't. A lot of us didn't see it. A lot of us didn't, let alone like all the other strategies that we didn't see when we were growing up. Business is one of them, is that we all have big hearts. We want to see people, we want to actually get results. The problem is that when it comes to business, we crash and burn because we just haven't learned the right steps. And I was there. I was at a point in my life where I was like, I need a mentor in my life. I need someone to be real with me though. Not just be on the phone and be like, hey, these are the numbers that you need. This is what you need to do with your business. No, it's like, what's going on in your life? Why aren't you growing? What are you doing? Who are you putting yourself around? How are you thinking? What are your habits? And being real with that person and saying, this is what I'm going through right now. This is this is real stuff. I'm actually depressed. I can't get out of my depression right now. What do I do about this? And so getting real with that person in order to grow. So I didn't mention this in the very beginning, but I'm going to give you the $25,000 branding talk that took our business from 6 figures to 7 figures. So all you have to do, this is legit. I'm giving you this, okay? So you're going to text the word Elevas to 44222. This is the branding talk done by Andrea Shillington that took us to the next level. It helped us break that glass ceiling. When you listen to it, you're going to realize why it did. It's literally, she's pointing out things that are ninja in the talk. It's amazing. So I'm giving that to you. Everybody have it. I'm going to change the slide. Everybody have it? No? Okay. So type Elevas to 44222. Then it's going to ask for your email. And we're only going to send you like 10 or 11 spam emails, and all the rest of it will be junk. It'll be amazing. Okay? I'm just kidding. We are going to send you an email, but you can opt out, okay? It's okay, all right? But you're gonna get that branding talk, okay? So this is our retreat in Sedona, Arizona. It's going to be September 23rd to the 25th. Now, my assistant just sent me the numbers. We have 7 spots, okay? So I have 7 sheets, and that's it, okay? So if you wanna go, if you really are interested in going and you're ready to make the commitment, so I'm doing it until I leave. So if you find me and you sign up while I'm here, I'll give you an example of what it costs to come to our retreat. So it was $10K for our Sri Lanka retreat, okay? This retreat is $5K. What we're doing for FAI, so I just gave you a $25,000 branding talk, we're doing it for $3,997, all right? So you guys only get it for $3,997. Don't email that out to friends or anything like that, all right? So if you are truly interested in going, talk to me, and I will hook you up, okay? This is what we're gonna be doing at the retreat. Like I said, it's a meta-learning environment. If you want to learn more about it, you can go to bit.ly/epicsedona, and you can learn all about what we do, why we do it, how we do it, all the ins and outs, okay? It's going to be awesome. I don't even know what Sedona looks like. It probably looks very similar to this area. I heard it's beautiful, but we're going to be doing a lot of exciting things and getting busy in the outdoors. Like I said, it's a meta-learning environment, so we do it to immerse you in an experience and then also teach you cutting-edge capabilities and practices. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Do we have, you're going to be around?
I'll be around.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
All right.
Do I need to stand up here?
If you want.
Okay. Okay. Really? You want me to leave? Am I leaving?
You can go.
I didn't know we had questions or not.
No, I don't. Do we have time for a question or? Yeah, if there's any questions. It's that timer thing like holds you slave
I know it does, yeah.
Questions?
Yes.
Can you join a mastermind? What comes to my mind is how will I personally be able to contribute when I need so much?
I'm just going to repeat the question.
Yeah.
I'll repeat it. So she said, when you join a mastermind, how do I feel like I'm going to be able to contribute as much if I feel like I'm the one really there in need? Does that sum it up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Cody and Dan, they have a mastermind, and I would say they would probably agree with me when I say that initially you may not be able to contribute what you want. You may be learning, but that's a great place to be in. Being in that learning pupil, that's what it's all about, because we've all been there. So, and you will most definitely be able to contribute, let me just tell you that, because you're in a place in life where nobody else is. So, there's all different types of ages. So you could contribute emotionally, you can contribute physically, you can tell people what's worked with you relationally, all of that. And you absolutely will be able to contribute. Now, it might not be as much as you want, like I said, but as you grow, you'll start to mentor people who are coming in, right? And then you'll be a mentor, and then it continues from there. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Anybody else?
Okay.
All right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
A lot of people in this room are starting out really small and just starting at the bottom, growing up their business. Can you maybe explain kind of how to justify making that transition to focus on that one thing and delegate those $10 an hour tasks, those $100 an hour tasks?
Yeah.
So just to repeat.
Yeah.
So a lot of us are starting small. How do we start with that process of delegating and outsourcing when we're starting so small?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question. So I would recommend that you start writing out your tasks on paper first. So you start writing out what you're doing daily, and write out a pros and cons list. That's a really good way to start. So write out pros and grows. I don't like cons. I like pros and grows. So when you write out that list, you're actually looking at essentially where you need to be operating and where you're most effective. Another question to ask yourself is, where are you most passionate, or what are you most passionate about? So if you're not operating within your passion, I can tell you, you're gonna crush your productivity right away, because it's not your big why. So when you ask yourself, why do I wake up in the morning? Whatever that answer is, that's where you need to operate. Does that make sense? Does that help a little bit? Because that's a really complicated question, but I would also start, even if you wanna go a step further than that, then once you actually start to get that list down, then you start to do a little bit of experimentation. So wherever you're operating, Okay, so if you're having trouble like, well, is this a $100 activity? Is this a $10 activity? You'll know by the growth of your business. And that's kind of the risk of being an entrepreneur. But ask, have a group of people around you that you can ask. That's the beauty of what Dan and Cody are doing. Is, I mean, having a mastermind that you can actually go to, or having a group of people that you can go to and ask them, hey, this is my passion. Am I operating within my passion right now? How do you see it? And ask 2 or 3 people. Don't ever separate yourself and isolate yourself, because that's when it gets dangerous. Because then you start giving yourself advice, and that's just dangerous. Good question.
Good question.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Doctor.
it.